Hello guys, this is Jack from Team Empire, and today we're talking about the new Nirvana Jiva / Cross Overdress support cards for D-BT09 Dragon Tree Invasion. So let's get to it. This new playstyle, or this new support, is very interesting as it focuses on combining the Overdress playstyle and the Cross Overdress playstyle. I'm not sure how good this is going to be yet, I have yet to test it. But this is what this first thought segment is for, just to kind of lay my thoughts out there, how I feel about these cards, and do I think these cards are good, bad, whether they're going to shake up the meta, just kind of let y'all know what I think, and then ask y'all what you think about these cards. So, the first card we have is a card called Clad in Brayer. It's a normal order, grade 3. It says if you have a Vanguard with Nirvana in its card name, and one or more units each in the Overdress state and Cross Overdress state, you can play this card. Choose one of your units in the Overdress state, and it gets auto rearguard circle once per turn. When your Vanguard attacks, stand this unit until end of turn. Choose one of your units in the Cross Overdress state, and it gets plus 10k power until end of turn. So this gives the Cross Overdress unit power because it's going to restand using Jiva's effect, which makes sense, just more power, more power, more power. And then gives the Overdress unit the restand skill, so when you swing with Jiva, you're actually standing 2 rear guards as opposed to standing 1 rear guard, making Jiva a 5 attack deck, which is very scary. The fact also that this order is completely free is very nice, since we all know Jiva is very CB heavy and will continue to be with this new support. Now, combining Overdress and Cross Overdress is very interesting, as deck space is already pretty tight, so I'm not sure what you would actually take out, put in, your ratio of Prayer Dragons, your ratio of Cross Overdress units between your ratio of Overdress units. As we'll see with one of these later cards, Overdress units are now searchable, so you can actually afford to probably play less of them in the deck, but that's up to debate. But the order is good and bad. It's good because it gives Nirvana Jiva a really good offense, especially once you have that setup fully on board. Just giving them giving big attacks with restands and 5 attacks is very nice. It feels like Nirvana finally has its own version of Hellblast Full Dive or Form Up O Chosen Knights, like an order that really just pushes the offensive. As for how many you'd run, I don't know exactly, maybe 3 to 4, but even then, Jiva is a deck that's already so tight on space that it can be very difficult to find a card you actually want to replace with this. But that's enough said about the order. We can get to the new card, which is Pierce Equipped Dragon Halberos. It's a grade 2 double rare, and this is auto. When this is placed on a rearguard circle from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Nirvana in its card name, cost Counterblast 1, put a card with Verena in its card name from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with Verena in its card name from amongst them, reveal it, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal, countercharge 1. This is very similar to Burning Horn in set 5, where it checks top 5 and searches for an Overlord and puts into hand. This is a little worse because you already need to put a Verena on the bottom of your deck, which granted is also decent in its own ways, because you're basically recycling your Verenas in a very convoluted way by just putting them in the bottom of their deck. It also is a Verena searcher, so that's pretty nice. It's top 5, but there are so many Verenas in the game that you're bound to hit at least one, and even if you don't, they give you a little condolence. They give you your resources back, which is very good. This card would have sucked if it didn't do that. So I think it's pretty good. I think you'll probably play it as a 2 of maybe, because it already needs pre-existing setup in order to search, and plus it only starts searching once you're on Nirvana. So you can't play this on grade 2 turn and keep searching for your Verenas and stuff. You just have to play it later in the game. So I think it's a good 1 or 2 of in the deck. But that's not the main one we're going to talk about. The one that actually bridges Overdress and Cross Overdress together. It's this card, which is a Prayer Dragon, grade 1, Strike Equipped Dragon, Stragalio, which says auto. When this is placed on a Brayer circle from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Nirvana in its card name, cost, discard a card from your hand, search your deck for up to one card with the OverDress ability or up to one Trick Star, reveal it, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. And then auto, when this card becomes an original dress, cost counterblast 1, choose a Trick Star from your drop zone and call it to rearguard. So like I said, this bridges those two playstyles together, and you can see it in many ways. The first skill is pretty great. Just discard 1, search for a OverDress unit or a Trick Star. This can drastically reduce the amount of OverDress units that you have to play, especially since you're going to play this card as a 4 of. So you're basically having an extra 4 copies of every OverDress unit. The only thing that's kinda iffy about that first skill is that it has to be played from a hand, so you can't like play it off Jiva's effect and then discard a card to search for more OverDress units or Trick Stars. Maybe they thought that was like too strong, but I don't know, it just seems a little overbalanced to me. But you can play this, as long as you have this in your hand, you can keep playing it, keep discarding, searching for your Trick Stars or the OverDress ability. And again, it's also cool to search for a Trick Star. So if you already have your OverDress units in your hand and you don't want any more, you can just search for a Trick Star and keep searching for them, so you always have Trick Stars just in case they get bottom deck, bound, locked. Just always keep up those Trick Stars so you can keep overdressing and keep cross overdressing. And the second effect is great. Calling a Trick Star from the drop zone is very good, since you're already going to have a Trick Star on the field off of your Reno. So being able to search one and then just calling it immediately back out also helps you get that condition where you can have your OverDress unit and your cross OverDress unit on the board at the same time. Overall, I think you do want to play this Prayer Dragon as a 4 of in the deck, because it does everything the deck would really want it to do. And one thing that's very cool about the two Prayer Dragons is that they don't say Jiva and they don't really mention cross OverDress unit. So if you really wanted to, you could play Stragalio and something like Mahar in order to search out your Esperidea or search out an Arcs if you really need it, just to have some kind of consistency tool. But I think these cards are intentionally designed for Jiva, which is very nice. As for how good, these cards aren't going to be meta, I can already see that. They're very conditional. They don't really plus like any of the other decks do, like Youthberg pluses so much. And this deck, you can kind of see where they're going with it. They want it to be like a super aggressive deck, like kind of glass cannon-y. But I don't know, it's that playstyle I'm not really vibing with too much. I like having the cards in my hand, but this playstyle offers something that Nirvana has never really had, and that's like deck build variety. Because mostly when a new support wave comes out for Nirvana, it's, oh, I wonder which, I'm going to play the OverDress unit or the new cross OverDress unit in there, and then we'll play the new Prayer Dragon, and that's pretty much it. But now, with the idea that OverDress and cross OverDress are coming together, it allows for a lot more creativity in deck building and play styles. For instance, you could search for Arcs, obviously, which is just a better version of Pramada. You can search for Urger to have that 15k intercept against decks that don't have a lot of removal. You can search for the OG Varina to have a little bit of board control. You can search for Valiente for that hit pressure like you had, although I wouldn't really recommend something like that. And you can even search for something like Expecta, which is going to be pretty in this deck because you already need setup with Expecta, but hey, the option is still there. Along with your cross OverDress units like Garo and Bar, and Braum, just making those already big boys much bigger. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the cross OverDress support. I'm not the cross OverDress player in the team, that belongs to JC, so I want to ask him how he feels about it, and want to test with him and see how powerful this new playstyle and this new deck is. But enough me talking. Let me know what y'all think about the cross OverDress units in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see y'all next time.